Good day everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cikgu Darrel and today we shall continue on Unit 7 Growing Up. For your information, this is the 6th lesson which is on page 78 on your student's book. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to role play an interview with a famous person. As usual, before we proceed to our lesson today, let me communicate with you first the framework of our lesson. First, we shall watch and listen to a video and complete a gap dialogue after that. Then, we shall match the key phrases to the correct people based on the interview you have watched from the video. Last but not least, we shall practice the dialogue by improving speaking in a conversation. Take note that we are not going to practice the dialogue like how we used to do that in the classroom. However, I am going to provide you another sample situation by practicing the same key phrases that we have learned in this lesson later on. Without further ado, let us move on to the first activity of our lesson today, which is to watch a video and complete a gap dialogue. But before we watch and listen to the video, I would like to introduce to you first the characters of the roleplay for this interview in this lesson today, which are Gareth and Jasmine. Gareth will play as the interviewer, whereby Jasmine will play as the pop star. Before we listen to the video, let us take a quick scan on the dialogue text here. Hi, it's great to meet you. I've got a few questions for you, if that's okay. Sure, go ahead. Great, so when did you decide to become a singer? Good questions. This is the blank you need to focus on. Really? How old were you? Another blank here. That's interesting. Where did you go to school? In Texas at first, but then we moved to New York. Cool. Did you enjoy living there? Sure. This is the third blank that you have to fill in after this. Okay, one more question. What was the most exciting moment in your career? That's a difficult one. Another column here, number 4. Ah, yes, of course, that was great. Thanks for your time. You're welcome. So these are the 4 columns that you need to focus on when you listen to the video. Now, let's watch and listen to the video. At the same time, try to focus at the text as well on page 78 on your student's book. Are you ready? Let's start.
Okay, Gareth, Jasmine, it's your turn. Remember, Gareth, you're the journalist, and Jasmine, you're the pop star.
Hi, it's great to meet you. I've got a few questions for you, if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead.
Great. So when did you decide to become a singer?
Good question. I decided when I was at school.
Really? How old were you?
Oh, about 10, I think.
That's interesting. Where did you go to school?
In Texas at first, but then we moved to New York.
Cool. Did you enjoy living there?
Sure, it was quite exciting to be in a big city.
Okay, one more question. What was the most exciting moment in your career?
That's a difficult one. I guess it was when I sang with Beyonce last year.
Ah, yes, of course. That was great. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
So that's the end of the roleplay video that you have watched about the interview between the interviewer as well as the pop star. Now, get back to the dialogue text here again. We are going to complete the dialogue text with the answers that I have provided here. These are the 4 choices of answers from A until D. Let's look at choice A. Oh, about 10, I think. B, I guess it was when I sang with Beyonce last year. C, I decided when I was at school. D, it was quite exciting to be in a big city. So take a look at column number 1. Which do you think is the answer? Looking at the previous questions, the pop star was asked, when did you decide to become a singer? So, by right, the most suitable answer here should be, I decided when I was at school. Really? How old were you? Number 2, asking about the age. So answer should goes to A. Oh, about 10, I think. And number 3, cool, did you enjoy living there? Sure. So definitely for this column, the most suitable answer is it was quite exciting to be in a big city. That's a difficult one. And number 4, the answer is I guess it was when I sang with Beyonce last year, because the interviewer asked her to describe the most exciting moment in her career. So that was the moment that she sang with Beyonce. Did you manage to get the same answer with mine? If so, well done. Now let's move on to the second activity of our lesson today, which is to match the key phrases. Which are whose? Now we have 2 roles based on the role play that we have watched just now, which were the interviewer and the pop star. And on your right, there are 6 key phrases that were highlighted in the interview just now. Can you identify which key phrases are mentioned by the interviewer as well as the pop star? Again, you are going to watch and listen to the video, but before we listen to the video, we need to read through each key phrase first. Number 1, I've got a few questions for you, if that's okay. Number 2, sure, go ahead. Number 3, good questions. Number 4, one more question. Number 5, that's a difficult one. Number 6, thanks for your time. And now, let's listen to the video again, and this time we need to focus on the key phrases that we have gone through just now.
Okay, Gareth, Jasmine, it's your turn. Remember, Gareth, you're the journalist, and Jasmine, you're the pop star.
Hi, it's great to meet you. I've got a few questions for you, if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead.
Great. So when did you decide to become a singer?
Good question. I decided when I was at school.
Really? How old were you?
Oh, about 10, I think.
That's interesting. Where did you go to school?
In Texas at first, but then we moved to New York.
Cool. Did you enjoy living there?
Sure, it was quite exciting to be in a big city.
Okay, one more question. What was the most exciting moment in your career?
That's a difficult one. I guess it was when I sang with Beyonce last year.
Ah, yes, of course. That was great. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Now, it's up to your decision to match the key phrases to the correct person based on the video that you have watched just now. Number 1, I've got a few questions for you, if that's okay. This key phrase was said by the interviewer. Number 2, sure, go ahead. It should be pop star. Number 3, good questions. Pop star said it. And number 4, one more questions. It should be from the interviewer. And number 5, that's a difficult one. It's from the pop star. And number 6, thanks for your time. It was the interviewer. So did you manage to get all the answers correct? If so, you were really a sharp listener. Now let's move on to the final activity of our lesson today, which is we are going to practice the dialogue. As mentioned earlier, we are not going to practice like how we used to practice it in the classroom face to face, but in this activity, I'm going to guide you on how to improve speaking for more interesting conversation. Well, there are 2 things that you need to focus on. The first is you must react to what people say. And how are you going to react? You can always say words like, really? That's interesting. Cool. Yes, of course. Now these are the sample key phrases that you can use when you want to show reactions to what people say. And on top of that, you can also ask them questions to find out more information, at the same time to show that you are really interested with what they are saying. And these questions normally are WH questions. You can start it with why, when, where, what, or even yes or no question tags that start with the word did. Now, I have an example here. Using the key phrases just now that we have gone through, okay, I'm going to provide you a sample situation. This is an interview between Jane and Ben. And for the first two sentences, I have already done for you, and we are going to create this dialogue using some of the key phrases on your left here to complete the whole dialogue. Jane is the interviewer and Ben is the Google founder. Now, Jane starts off first with, when did you first go to England? And Ben said, I went to England when I was young. So what do you think Jane can say for her next questions? At this point, I use, really? Why did you go to England? I use the word really to react to Ben's question, and at the same time, I ask further to show my interest to his answer. And Ben said, my dad wants me to study there. So, to ask further, we can say, that's interesting. Where did you go to school? Then I ask another question again to keep the conversation continue. Ben said, I first went to Bristol and later to Manchester. Guess what Jane can say? She can say, cool, did you enjoy there? And I believe the last answer you should know much better than me, because Jane asked a yes or no question text, a questions that will prompt the interviewee to answer yes or no. And therefore, the most suitable answer here is yes, of course. So this is just a sample dialogue that I use some of the key phrases here to make another situation for you to see when you want to do a role play. You can also try to use these words and try to practice doing a role play with your friends or even siblings. Assign the roles to yourself, maybe you as an interviewer or your siblings as the pop star. Alright, so that's the end of our lesson today. I hope it helps you. This is the Google Form exercise that I have prepared for you. Feel free to just scan the QR code right in front of your screen, or you may click on the link that I have prepared in the video description below. If you're a teacher and you would like to make a copy of this Google Form exercise, feel free to just scan the QR code, or you may click on the link on the video description as well. As usual, don't forget to visit my Facebook page Cikgu Darrel and give it a like if possible. Subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell so that you will always get notified whenever I update my playlist. With that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I shall see you at the next video. Bye!